Hello everybody, I'm Chris Callahan, also known as Mr. C, and today we're going to talk about Stalemate. Stalemate is one of the strangest rules in chess, I must say, and very often when I teach people about it, they just can't believe their eyes. The whole thing just seems so unfair to them that this is how a chess game could end. But it is a real rule, and if you want to avoid it happening to you if you're winning, or find a way to make it happen if you're losing, then you need to know how it works. So let's take a look at this position. Who would you say is winning this position? Who's ahead? Many people, when they are asked that question, will start counting the chess pieces. And those people will look at this position, they'll see that white has a queen, and black has no pieces at all, and say that white is winning. A more experienced player will say that they can't tell you who's winning until they know whose turn it is. If it's white's turn, then yes, white is winning, that's true. But if it's black's turn, nobody is winning. In fact, the game is over. It's a tie. How could this game be a tie? Well, let's think about it. If it was black's turn, where would black go? Where would they move? They can't move here because of the queen. Also can't move here for the same reason. They can't go here, again, because of the queen. So that means they don't have any moves. Now, I'm not saying that black doesn't have any good moves. I'm saying black doesn't have any moves that they're allowed to play. Playing king to g8 is not a bad move. It's an illegal move. It's a move you're not allowed to play. In chess, you are not allowed to put your king on a square where it's in danger. You're not allowed to make a move that leaves your king in danger. So if the black king can't go anywhere, he's trapped. And a trapped king is checkmate, isn't it? Well, no. This position is only missing one thing from checkmate, and that is the check. Checkmates have checks in them. You'll remember that a checkmate is two things. Number one, check, the king is in danger, something is aiming at the king, about to take it. And number two, the mate, that there's no way to save the king. Well, we have the second one sewed up. There's no way to save this king, but we forgot to do the first. Which white piece is aiming at the black king, about to take it? Nothing. He is perfectly safe on the square he's on. In the game of chess, when it is one player's turn and that player has no legal move to make, the game is over and it is a tie. Now, we don't call it a tie in chess. We have a fancy chess word, and the fancy chess word is draw, but you can just remember that it means tie. Does this seem fair to you? One side has all the pieces and all the power, and the other one has nothing at all, and the game is just over and it's a tie? It does seem a little strange, but whether you think it's fair or not, this is a rule, so I guess you'd better get used to it. One more quick point before we go any further. If I take a black pawn and magically put it on the board like that, is this still a stalemate? Well, no, because if it's black's turn, black can move the pawn. This is something that people get confused sometimes. Stalemate doesn't mean that the king can't move. It means that nothing can move. If you have some other piece that can move, well, just move that piece. Keep the game going. What are you waiting for? Okay, story time. This story is very sad, at least from my perspective. It's something that happened to me a long time ago, so I'm more or less over it now, and hopefully my experience can be something that others learn from. I was playing in a tournament about 15 years ago, so I was 22 or 23 or something, I don't remember exactly, and it was the last round of the tournament, and the tournament was going very well for me, and basically the situation was, if I won my last game, I would win the tournament, I would get lots of money, I'd get a big prize. If I drew the last game, I would get a small amount of money, and if I lost, I would get nothing at all. So I really needed to win the game. So the game went very well for me, and we arrived to this position. I am playing white, the 7-year-old boy was playing black, and you can see that I'm doing great. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 extra pawns. And in my head, I should have been thinking about the game still, but I was kind of already thinking about what I was going to spend all the prize money on and how great it would be that I was going to win the tournament. And then my opponent played a very surprising move. He played rook to g2. And I just sort of stared at that rook for a moment, completely confused. The first thing that jumped out at me, is I probably jumped out to all of you, is that I can just take that rook. And so I'm looking at the rook, very confused, and I snuck a look at my opponent to see if I could read something on his face, and he was just sitting there looking very normal. I looked back at the rook, picked up my king to take the rook, and then, wait. If I take this rook, what will happen? Well, it will be black's turn, right? That's how chess works. After white moves, black moves. Where would black go? Can't take the pawn. Can't go there. Can't go there. So what is that? Well, it's a checkmate, right? Oh, no. No check. Nothing aiming at the king. That would be a stalemate, and I would draw the game. A draw, as I said before, is no good. Can't have a draw. And fortunately, I had not taken the rook yet. So I put my king back down on the square it was on, took a deep breath. Oh, thank goodness I didn't take that rook. Whew, that was a close one. So I instead, I have to move my king now because I touched it. I played king to f1. And we're totally safe now. This is not stalemate because black still has a rook, right? The black king may be super trapped and not have any moves, but this rook can still make lots of moves, so no stalemate. My happiness, however, was short-lived because my opponent played another move that surprised me. Rook f2 check. And this is when I realized I had a problem. If I take the rook, it's the same as before. It's a stalemate. And if I move my king away, well, this rook just follows me around. Check. Check. Maybe I'll go back. Check. 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 I can never take the rook. If I ever take the rook, it's stalemate. So how do I get away from this rook? The answer is I can't. All I can do is shuffle around on the back row forever. There's no way to get away from the rook. There's no way to win the game. This position is a draw. And when I realized that, I was so sad. I realized I'd messed up. I realized I was winning by 4 pawns. I should have won if I'd just been a little bit more careful and not allowed this. But that sort of thing happens in chess games quite a bit. Most chess players have a story like that, of a position that they were winning, that they should have won, and there ended up being some stalemate trick. I guess it makes chess more fun because you're never really totally out of the game. Kids will often ask me when they have a position with only their king on the board, they'll say, I can't win anymore, can I? I don't have any pieces, so I can't give check, I can't give checkmate. And that's true, they can't, but they can still draw. You can always still draw a chess game if the chess game is still going. So anyway, something for everybody to look out for. Don't let this happen to you, and if you're losing, try to make it happen to your opponent. That's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.